Hello, I'm Bryce Abrams, assistant golf professional here at the Chuck Will Golf Academy in Dulles, Virginia. And today we're going to talk a little bit about set makeup and why that's extremely important and how we determine what clubs benefit us and what clubs we carry for specific reasons. So the first thing we do is during our fitting, we're going to do an iron fitting and determine the irons that we like the best. And then we're going to from there, we're going to determine the highest iron that we can hit, whether it's a 3 or a 4 or 5 iron. And how we determine that is it's going to be the longest iron we can hit that will stop at a front pin. So the trajectory is pretty high, and then it lands at a front pin with some spin on it so that it doesn't roll off the back of the green. And it's different for each person, so whether it's a 3 or a 4 or a 5 iron, it's specifically what that person needs. And then from there, it depends on what the person is looking for. So if it's the top end of their bag, so if it's hybrids and woods, we'll then go to that. And how we determine that is, say the longest iron they can hit is a 4 iron, then we would determine how far that they hit their 3 wood, and then from there, fill in that gap. So if a 4 iron goes 200 yards, a 3 wood goes 230 yards, we want to fill that right in the middle at 215 yards, and that's most likely going to be somewhere around a 19 or 20 degree hybrid. And we have you hit different hybrids to see which one you like and which one performs the best. And then on the other end of the bag, so on the lower end where the wedges are, what we want to do is determine what gapping you would like. So whether it be 10 to 15 yards, that's usually roughly the gapping that we would like in the yardages, because at the lower end it becomes a little bit more about accuracy, and we want to have smaller gaps at the lower end of our bag. And what we do there is we determine how far you hit your pitching wedge, and then how far you hit your lob wedge or the highest lofted wedge that you want to go with, and then we fill in that gap. And another thing that we do here is we determine what kind of gap wedge you're going with. Most people nowadays use gap wedges because a lot of the irons are now 46 and 45 pitching wedge degrees. So from there, we need something between that and say a traditional sand wedge at 56 or 55 degrees. So the gap wedge is usually around 50, 49, 50, 51, 52. And what we do there is we determine if you use, most people will either use their gap wedge just for full shots. So if you were to do that, you would go more with the gap wedge that matches your set. Or if you use it to chip and do bump and runs around the green, you may go with it to match the rest of the wedges that you're going to have, because you want it to match something that you use around the green a little bit more. And another big factor in the wedges is the bounce of the wedge, and which correct bounce is for the person that we're working with. And from there, we determine also if they want 2 or 3 wedges on top of their pitching wedge. So if they want 2, you'd go kind of 52 degree, 58 usually. And if you want 3 more, it's going to go 50, 54, 58, or 50, 55, 60. And usually that can give us a pretty good gapping in between the wedges. All right, so that's how we determine the set makeup, and that's why it's so important, because sometimes we need a little bit of help getting the ball up in the air and stopping it on a par 3, and that's where we add hybrids in there. And then we also need to determine the gapping in our wedges and which bounce and everything works best for us. If you have any questions, just let us know, and the contact info will be to follow.